More vehicle checkpoints to come across Texas. That's according to Governor Greg Abbott. The announcement made this afternoon during his visit to Eagle Pass and comes days after dozens of migrants died in a smuggling attempt here in San Antonio. He says the job of authorities on the border is to secure its communities and surprise the cartel operations that lead these smuggling attempts. Alicia Barrera is in Eagle Pass as well, where large groups of migrants continue to make their way through, defying the efforts of the governor's Operation Lone Star.
Even with a heavy military presence along the Eagle Pass border, this group of undocumented immigrants crossed the Rio Grande. According to Eagle Pass Chief of Police Federico Garza, this has once again become an increasingly common sight in the last month, and his team is overwhelmed.
Police agencies have big challenges coming through, not only from illegal immigration, active shooters, and everything else that come with it. So we're really being stretched too thin.
Border Patrol Del Rio sector reports a total of 2,915 apprehensions over the weekend, which is where additional troopers will arrive to the border under orders of Governor Greg Abbott.
The Texas Department of Public Safety is creating 2 strike teams to detect, deter, and apprehend unlawful crossings of illegal immigrants.
And in an effort to prevent the death of migrants at the hands of smugglers, Texas could soon see new DPS vehicle checkpoints to identify clone trucks like the one in San Antonio, where dozens of migrants were found dead.
But I can assure you our troops will be able to identify whether it's legitimate or not and take action at that point in time. That's a deterrent.
Garza's hope is that international bridges and commerce won't be affected once again.
We can't pay any higher prices than what we're doing right now. We got to bring those things down, and we got to allow commerce to come through and make business in the United States.
All right, so what you're looking at right now is a live look at undocumented immigrants literally walking over from Piedras Negras to Eagle Pass. Right now we see about 4 or 5 undocumented immigrants from where I'm standing. They're standing kind of in the middle right now. I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing. I'll try to explain as best. They're hanging on to a pillar, but this is exactly the issue that the chief of police for Eagle Pass was talking about. The governor, DPS, they're overwhelmed. There you see one of them actually trying to defy the current of the Rio Grande and trying to make it over to the U.S. These are live images that you're watching. Again, this group coming from Piedras Negras trying to swim their way over to Eagle Pass. On this side, on the Texas side, you have at least 2-3 Texas military waiting for them over here. And you have, the concertina wire that Texas military department has been placing throughout the border. We're talking miles, but that's not stopping this group earlier. I mean, you saw those images at the beginning of the story. That was around 2 p.m. today, and really that group has been standing by. So this is why military also on the Texas side standing by to see what happens. And I have lost sight of them. You do see Texas military standing by. Steve, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Alicia, stay with me for a second because I want to talk to you about what we're watching live play out here. I mean, these are people who obviously aren't trying to evade authorities. I mean, they just want to get to the other side and try to ask for amnesty, right? I mean, they're trying to just cross the river. They don't care if the concertina wire is there or Operation Lone Star authorities are there. They want to give themselves up to authorities. Am I correct in that?
So yes, that is correct. A couple of feet from where we're standing is actually where Texas military will walk over these undocumented immigrants to hand them over to Border Patrol for them to be processed. And then that's when they meaning these migrants, are able to plead their case. Now, of course, there are cases where they do make it around this particular area and they do make a run for it. They don't want to turn themselves in. And then that's when you see the issue of these stash houses. I spoke to the chief and he says stash houses here in Eagle Pass are a big issue. They are overwhelmed, but you have both sides. In this case, what we're seeing is they're trying to swim over to Eagle Pass. And yes, what it looks like right now is that they will turn themselves over to authority. And right now we see the current, I mean, this is deceiving. In some parts, it looks calm, but that undertow could sweep them away at any time, Steve.
Well, and that's what I was noticing too, is they were clinging onto a pillar for the bridge there, for the international bridge there at one point, and then making a quick swim for it. And you pointed out just days ago about how deceiving the Rio Grande is, and I've been down there myself, where it can be shallow in some places, then it just drops off.
Absolutely, and this is what we're keeping an eye on anytime we come over here. This Rio Grande area, the water crossing is really low. Already we hear one of the boats for Border Patrol nearby. So more activity anytime you see these groups trying to move their way through. The water hits them at waist level. I'm not sure if you're able to see that from where we're standing. I can make a better idea of that, but again, it's unclear what can happen at any moment, and this is the risk that these people take. And sometimes there's kids involved. In this case, we don't see any children. Young people, yes, young men, but thankfully at this point, no children.
And not only the strength of the water could be deceiving in this scenario, but maybe the entire scene that people are watching play out might be deceiving because it looks so calm. As we've talked about, this is a group coming over, trying, of course, their best, as you said, to defy that current, but they're right there in front of authorities. It looks as though they plan to present themselves to authorities. They know that they are going to be caught on the other side. Alicia, you've spent a lot of time in recent weeks there on the border. I know that you have met with migrants who were taken to places like the Catholic Charities Respite Center in McAllen, sharing with you their stories about why they've fled their countries to try to make it into the U.S. Do you have any idea in a scenario like this where people are crossing with the intent to turn themselves over to authorities? What are the next steps for them? What will likely happen once they are with Customs and Border Protection?
The first thing, they're going to be processed. They have this database that has expanded over the years. So if they have tried to seek asylum in previous years, if their family member over here in the States have wanted to request them to come over in a legal route, all of that can help authorities process them in a faster way. Usually what we see is once they turn themselves over, Border Patrol is really quick to tell them to take off any shoelaces, any belts that they may have on them, just anything that could serve as a weapon. All that's put into a Ziploc bag. Usually that's turned over to them once they're let go, once they've been processed in that legal route through Border Patrol. And then comes, maybe some days of waiting. Right now it's unclear how much time it really takes for this processing through Border Patrol to work, because then we do hear that they're overwhelmed at many of these centers, right? And then after that is when they're able to be released to organizations like Catholic Charities, which is usually when they get their first chance to finally let their family members know that they've made it over to the United States in a safe manner. But when I talk to them, I ask them why. And some do mention the violence. A lot of them do. But some moms, dads too, their basic need is to be able to feed their children. So again, I was trying to keep an eye out to see if we see any little ones. Usually they'll just, carry them. Fortunately, that's not the case with this group. Another thing that I want to point out, where we're standing is where Texas Military Department is as well. To my right, not very far, that's where Border Patrol is. So these groups know exactly where to turn themselves in. They didn't do a straight shot like they could have. They kind of moved diagonally to the right. And again, that's to be able to turn themselves over to Border Patrol. You're not able to see that station from where we're standing because of the high brush, but it's just past that bridge of railroad tracks to my right.
Yeah, and this is something that we see, when you talk to people in Eagle Pass and Del Rio and small communities like that, it's something that they see every day. What we just showed you live right here during the 6 o'clock news, certainly the human face of what is happening right along our border on live television. Alicia Barrera, appreciate your time, and as we see a Border Patrol van pull up behind you. Thank you, Alicia.